Most business owners don't have a sales problem. They have a trust problem. They just don't know it yet. Think about it. You've got a solid product. You've got a capable team. Maybe you've even invested in training, scripts, new hires. And yet, revenue feels inconsistent. Deals drag out. Prospects ghost you. And your team keeps saying, we just need more leads. But what if the problem isn't your leads? What if it's how you're approaching the conversation? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Most salespeople are trained to sell, while most buyers are trying to just solve a problem. And that disconnect, it's costing you deals, time, and trust every single day. So in this episode with Jorge Chavez, you're going to hear a completely different way to think about sales. Not as persuasion, not as closing, but as something much simpler and much more powerful. You'll learn why the best salespeople don't chase yes, why no can actually be a win, and how shifting just one mindset can transform your entire sales culture. If you've ever felt like your team should be performing at a higher level, or you're tired of unpredictable results, this conversation might completely change how you think about sales. So let's get into the episode. Welcome to another recording of the Financial Freedom Podcast. Today's guest is Jorge Chavez from Topaz Sales Consulting. We are going to talk about how he transforms the way the world hires, trains, and perceives salespeople. Jorge, welcome.
Thank you, Chris. I'm excited to be here. Hello, everybody, wherever you are. Thanks for tuning in.
Before we dive into the questions, what is Topaz Sales?
Topaz Sales, we're changing the way the world perceives, values, hires, and trains salespeople. People that have gone through the training and coaching we provide are actually the salespeople. They are a joy to be around. If you've been around a lot of salespeople, that might be humorous and it'd be like, wow, really? How do you do that? So we work with business owners. When you talk about your audience, if they're affluent business owners, decision makers, leaders in the business, that's our market. Those are our clients. We help them, their sales team, sell more products and services, hire better. So hire salespeople, hiring sales leaders. It's a whole different animal when you're hiring a salesperson as opposed to any other role you're hiring, and responsibly lead a high-performing sales team. Having sales leaders that know how to coach, motivate, and hold people accountable, manage pipelines. We train companies to have those competencies so they can build a revenue-generating machine.
How did you start Topaz Sales?
Most of my life, I've been in sales, been a business owner for 25 years. Started Topaz 10 years ago after doing it as an independent consultant. I felt what I was doing was having such an impact that I didn't want to do it as an independent consultant. I felt that I wanted to help serve more people. And I wanted to build a great business for a greater purpose. My wife is a co-founder with me. We've been building Topaz for over 10 years now. We have sales consultants on our team who our goal is to help replicate the client experience. Not replicate what I've done, but replicate how we work with others, that they have the same experience as if they worked with someone else from our team.
Why do traditional sales techniques fail?
I spent all day with salespeople. Most people don't trust salespeople. When you dig a little deeper, you wonder, why don't I trust salespeople? The reason is because salespeople are trying to sell something. Buyers are trying to solve a problem. There's misalignment from the beginning. What we do and believe is, rather than sales being the goal, it can't be the goal, because then you're going to be like a traditional salesperson and you're going to create distrust. We change the mindset of a salesperson where sales isn't the goal. It's a byproduct of building trusting relationships with everyone you speak to, asking questions and getting to the truth. We love yeses, we love nos, but we really want the truth. We would rather the ugly truth than a pretty lie. We value our time and the buyer's time. Our agenda is to build trust, ask questions, qualify to see if there's a good mutual fit. Our hope is to help them make an informed decision, solving the right problem buying the right product or service from the right company. That is our goal. The result is we sell a lot. We've transformed how salespeople think. We completely put the buyer at the center. We make it all about the buyer. We ask questions, we listen, and we learn. Sales is a byproduct. It's not the goal. In traditional sales, it's the goal. In that world, it hurts trust. People buy from people they trust. To sell more, we focus on relationships and trust.
How do you train salespeople to do this when they've been taught something entirely different?
That's a great question. One thing we don't do is convince people to do it this way. Our client is the business owner, and the business owner has to completely buy in to the fact that they would like to have a company with a culture of curiosity and responsibility. It starts at the top. If the owner just wants people to get out there and sell it, one and done, go sell something, whatever it takes, they would not be a good fit for us. But if they want to build long-lasting, trusting relationships, and they want a high-performing sales team, and they would prefer people asking questions and listening than talking, telling, and assuming, and they want people to value their time and get to the know if it's not a good mutual fit as quickly as possible versus wasting time with people that will never buy, then we would be a good fit. It all starts with the top. And if the owner and the leadership believe and want a culture of that responsibility and curiosity, then they will make it clear to their team that the path forward to be successful in the company is they have one sales philosophy, one process, a common language followed by all. But starts at the top. Once they agree and we agree it's a good mutual fit, then when we engage with the salespeople, and many of them have traditional selling mindset. There's so many books out there to overcome objections. Why do you give them something to object to? The people that believe you have to ask for it in order to be successful in sales. Have you ever won sales where you didn't have to ask for the order? Are you making assumptions when you ask for the order, like they're ready to buy? There's danger in that. When we meet with the sales team and they have all sorts of thinking of backgrounds, all the books they read, all the things they heard, we would ask questions to find out, tell us more about how you sell, how that works for you. What are some of the challenges you encounter? With our expertise, we help them discover maybe there's a better way. They'll start to realize, wow, I never thought of sales that way. Tell me more. They start getting interested. There are things that are falling short, things they'd like to do better, but they don't know how. Now that we have their attention, we start to get their buy-in. Ultimately, they start to realize, wow, I'm glad I'm here. I've been leaving millions on the table by wasting time and making assumptions. Everybody moves forward over time. So the buy-in starts at the top, commitment from the owner and the leadership team. And then the salespeople with time start to realize, wow, there's a better way.
Quick pause here. If this episode is making you rethink how your income is structured, that's intentional. Information doesn't create freedom. Structure does. At the end of this episode, I'm going to show you how to diagnose whether you're building leverage or just scaling complexity. Let's get back into it. Talk about success stories, the questions, deep-seated concerns, fears that people have when they sign up to work with you.
Once they sign up, those concerns and fears have gone away. I could give a couple fun stories. Here's how an engagement would start. A lot of our business comes from referrals. We had a company owner was a CEO of a company referred to us. He said, hey, George, I got a branch manager, a sales person, and they need sales training. Can you help? My question was, how do you know they're coachable? And he goes, that's a good question. How do I find out? I said, we can perform an objective sales and sales manager evaluation to find out what their potential to be successful in sales as a sales manager. We can get objective data, learn, have a conversation, and that's how we can find out. He said, that's a great idea. Let's do that. So we did that. And I go, by the way, we can just do that. If they're not coachable or trainable, we can part ways. You don't have to waste your money. We did that. And when he saw the data, he goes, wow, this is a lot of good information. We learned if they have a desire to be successful in sales, if they're committed to do whatever it takes, if they have a good attitude, if they're motivated, if they take responsibility, if they're coachable. We learned all sorts of data about their passion for sales, their tactical skills, and even hidden weaknesses and blind spots. He said, hey, this is great for these two. I got 20 other people that I would love to get this information. We did evaluations on everybody. After we did that, he said, I would love to train these people. And we started training people. And that was in 2020. We're now starting our 28th group of salespeople. We've done 6 groups of sales leaders training. They've gone from 3 branches to 11. They're international. They started a sister company. They went from 14 million in sales and now a combined company. They're close to 200 million. It all started with, I got a guy to train. Of course, we don't want to assume they're trainable. That's a success story. We continue to work with them today. There are skeptical people, consultants in sales. Those are probably 2 bad things to put together, sales and consulting. There is skepticism. But since we're not trying to convince people to buy, we just ask questions about what they're trying to accomplish and how they've done it in the past. What reservations do they have about consulting or sales? As we build that relationship and learn, we address what some of their issues are. Through the process, we discover some people were not a fit. There are other people through the process, we find out we're a great fit and they're excited to get started. We've seen many things.
The audience, they're interested in leadership when you're talking about the hire. How do you tell if a sales hire will actually perform?
It's a great question. Most people, when they're hiring salespeople, do one of 2 things. One, they'll get a recruiter and think, oh, that recruiter is going to do all the screening and make sure they can sell, and then I'll hire that person. The recruiter will provide, hey, here's 3 great candidates. The owner or the hiring team still has to decide who is going to be a good fit. Culture and competency fit. That's one option. The second option is use the same hiring process they use for other roles inside the company. They have a hiring process. Here's the question to ask. At what point do they find out if that person can sell? Do they learn it before the hiring or after? Most people don't have a step that requires somebody to sell. So they don't learn. What they do is they say, hey, you've been in our market, you've been in our industry, you know our clients, you know the ecosystem. And hey, you told me in your resume, you've got this track record of success, like you closed the largest deal your company's ever closed. I'm not sure why you're leaving, but you said you just closed the largest deal. Now you're looking for more opportunity. So you must be able to sell. How do we learn if somebody can sell? We make them do a role play and sell something as part of the hiring process. We don't stop there. There's 2 very important parts. One, are they coachable? There's a large probability they're going to have to learn when they join a new company. Coachability is an openness to change. Are they coachable? And do they have humility? Or are they arrogant? In that interview, we challenge and give them feedback about their performance, critical feedback, and we watch how they respond to it. Because it's essentially doing a debrief after a sales call. If you go on a ride along and you're with your person, you say, hey, how do you think that went? How self-aware are they? Are they humble? How do they receive your feedback? Are they argumentative and defensive? Are they open and happy that they learned something and excited to improve? We learn that in the hiring process. You might ask, how do we learn it? We train companies. We embed a hiring competency in their company. It's a process, it's tools, training. We help them make that next hire. It's teaching someone to fish so they can fish for a lifetime. We don't just give them a candidate. We teach them how to find the right hires, embed a hiring competency so they can hire more people and continue that process. That's how we learn. Most people are fearful and do not like hiring salespeople. I assure you, the feedback we get is hiring salespeople is a blast because we have so much information about the candidate by the time we sit in front of them, more than they know about themselves. We know exactly what we're looking for. We have a process to follow. Hiring salespeople is a fun, and it's even more fruitful when you get it right and they pay for themselves.
Shifting the perspective to leaders, what's the biggest mistake leaders make with their sales teams?
They want to be their friend. A lot of leaders, there's a hidden weakness in salespeople and in sales leaders, and that's a need for approval. It's great when people like you, but if you have a need to be liked, it's a weakness. It prevents leaders from holding people accountable to their expectations. They don't ask the hard questions. They're afraid of conflict out of fear of being disliked. And that is not doing the salespeople any favors. There's a lot of them, but that's a big one.
And to close out the conversation, if a leader only changed one thing this quarter by listening to this podcast, what would it be?
Recognize that you get what you tolerate. If you think your people are excuse makers and not putting in the work, my question would be, why do you allow it? Stop it. Own it. Change. It starts at the top. If you make excuses, you're going to tolerate and take excuses. Nothing kills a culture more than an excuse maker. If you want a team of high performers, ask yourself, why would a high performer want to be on your team? Do you have a culture that attracts high performers? High performers love competition. They're the first ones to show up, the last ones to leave. But if you got people coming in late, taking long lunches and leaving early, if there's mediocrity, I'm a high performer. I'd bounce. I have bounced. I want a team of high performers. I want to be challenged. I'll be my best. It starts at the top. You want to take away, own it. You get what you tolerate. You change your culture by starting with changing your own beliefs and your own behaviors. That's my takeaway.
Amazing. I think that's a wonderful end to the conversation. And how can people connect with you and learn more from you?
Visit our website. It's topazsalesconsulting.com. We have a great website. We have videos, testimonials, case studies, tools. We also have a newsletter you can sign up for through LinkedIn. You can get access to it through our website. If you are interested in a conversation, just in our contacts page on our website, I'm interested in a conversation, we'll reach out and have a conversation. No pressure. Let's learn and start a relationship there.
The audience really appreciates you coming on, sharing your experience and expertise. I think they got a lot from this conversation. Thanks so much.
I appreciate you reaching out. At the end of the day, this is not about Topaz or me. I hope you take something away, get value from it, use it. And if you did, this was a very good use of time.
Let's zoom out. If you're a physician, founder, or high-income professional, and you feel like you're working harder every year, but not structurally freer, you're not alone. The mistake isn't effort, it's architecture. This show exists to help you convert expertise into scalable leverage, faster and with fewer expensive missteps. Here's the diagnostic I mentioned before. If your income requires your constant presence, if your capital isn't compounding outside your profession, if your highest value talent is doing low value tasks, you don't have a growth problem, you have a leverage design problem. And if you want to fix it with clarity instead of guesswork, I offer a limited number of one-on-one leverage strategy sessions each month. We audit your income model, capital deployment, authority positioning, and structural bottlenecks, and design your highest return move. If you're serious about compressing years into months, the link to apply is below.